Forward now.
Well, this one's been a long time coming. Several days
Sure
longer than I
has.
expected, if I'm honest. Mostly because of the fine people at American Airlines who managed to cancel my flights not once but 2 days in a row, forcing me to embark on
Those
my own personal
bastards.
odyssey just to get home. It wasn't all bad though. All that enforced leisure time did at least give me a chance to catch up on the movie itself, and so here we find ourselves. If there's one thing I never had on my bingo card for this year, it's that the most contentious, bitterly controversial and divisive movie of 2026 would be made by Christopher Nolan of all people. Depending on who you talk to, the Odyssey is
I don't
either
even
a
like Christopher
disgusting
Nolan.
cinematic abomination that completely subverts
Not
and
really into it.
disrespects.
Like, I liked Interstellar. I haven't seen... That's not fucking... I didn't like Dark Knight, the trilogy, at all. I kind of did when I was a kid, but it was just kind of off. There was a lot of plot holes that I noticed as a kid, so you know they're pretty bad. And I just wasn't into the vibe, but also I'm not really a superhero fan. I like Spider-Man. Didn't like Tenet, didn't like Oppenheimer. Thought it was way too fucking long.
Homer's original work while shamelessly pandering to the mythical modern audience, or an undisputed masterpiece of film, the crowning achievement of Nolan's career, and a strong candidate for the greatest thing the human race has ever achieved. Fucking calm down, love. But no matter which side of the divide you come down on, half the movie-going world is gonna despise you until the end of time itself.
Welcome to America.
Here's the thing though, dear viewer, real life is a bit more complicated and nuanced than that, and as it turns out, so is the Odyssey. And now that I've had a chance to experience Christopher Nolan's wannabe magnum opus for myself, what is my verdict? Meh. I know that sounds like a bit of a weird reaction considering all the hype around this film, but it's the word that best sums up my feelings by the time the credits rolled. I just didn't feel much of anything. For all the controversies and
I yo-hoed it, and I did not like it. And people are like, well, you watched some shitty cam video. I'm like, bro, do you not realize that we have fucking, like, iPhones and shit? That shit, it gets recorded in 4K. I watched a really good version of it. The sound might have been a little off, but the quality was still pretty good. And I did not like it. I was bored as hell, and I thought it was going by way too fast, simultaneously going by way too slow. The pacing was all wrong. I have so many things to bitch about with this movie.
Culture warfare swirling around it, the Odyssey was pretty much exactly what I expected from a late-stage Christopher Nolan film. Technically impressive and commendably ambitious, visually dour and bleak, emotionally sterile and weirdly lacking in pace, urgency, or satisfying payoffs, populated by
Bro, I don't even have to say anything. He's just saying it all.
cold, distant characters that give no
Why don't you form your own opinions instead of just watching the critical drinker and taking in his opinions as your own? Bro, I had all of these opinions before this before this review came out, because everybody knows it. If you are saying anything else, you're just fucking lying.
nothing away and invite no empathy from the audience, dialogue that's jarringly clunky and on the nose, often delivered by talented but miscast actors, and ultimately, an ending that
We're going on an Odyssey. That's what he said at the beginning of the movie. It's fucking stupid.
fails to capitalize on its incredible build-up. It's a movie about love, yearning, adventure, wonder, mysticism, and epic mythology woven together by a man who either can't or won't understand any of those things. The Odyssey picks up about 20 years after the fall of Troy and the end of the Trojan Wars. Matt Damon's living on a beach with Charlize Theron with no memory of how he got there, while Zendaya stares at him every once in a while to display her incredible acting range. Ha! Go on, love, show us what you can do. Anyway, this setup
Dude, I hate modern actors, I hate modern celebrities, and they keep recycling the same 10 people over and over and over again.
acts as a framing device for the rest of the narrative.
We have the same actors that we did a fucking decade ago. That didn't used to happen like that. You used to get new people circulating constantly. I think the newest person we have, I guess, is like Sydney Sweeney. But I'm getting tired of seeing her everywhere because there's nobody else.
That gradually gets filled in the form of flashbacks. The first of which is the Siege of Troy, where Matt Damon uses the Trojan horse to get him and his men inside so they can
say that
open the
every
gates
time.
and end the 10-year-long siege. Yep, it took him 10 years to come up with that fucking idea. Anyway, with the war successfully over, everyone's like, guess we'll go home then. His second in command is like, shall we take the quickest, easiest, and most logical route, sir? But Matt Damon's like, nah, it'll be fine.
Okay, I'm done.
So instead, they head south and end up trapped in a cave with a giant cyclops that eats a few of them. Then they escape, but Matt Damon just can't resist shooting it with his bow,
I'm sorry, I had to do it one more
wrath of
time.
Poseidon, who blows them to another island altogether, where they run into a bunch of medieval space marines who promptly kill the shit out of them. It's at this point that the survivors decide they've had pretty much enough of Matt Damon's shit, and they head off to find a lovely woman named Cersei who turns them into pigs because she hates men or something. But then Matt Damon shows up and persuades her to turn them back into humans, and
yeah, I don't think it made any fucking sense. Like, and a lot of people will be like, well, historical accuracy, cultural accuracy. I don't give a fuck. Good movie is a good movie, and this was not that.
Besides, he should probably get some advice on how to get home quickly because, you know, this whole journey is starting to drag on a bit now. So him and his bros literally go to hell itself and get berated by the spirit of Elliot Page for a while, then land on another island where they're told not to eat any of the cattle there or the—
I refuse to use Ellen Page's new name. I don't care if I get banned. I'm not gonna fucking lie just so I don't get banned. Are you shitting me? No. And I know that Critical Drinker just says it as a joke, but still, I refuse.
They'll all be cursed to death. So they eat the cattle, and wouldn't you know it, their ship gets destroyed in a storm, and Matt Damon washes up on a beach with Charlize Theron, who keeps him drugged
so hard not to say it again.
7 years. But eventually he decides he ought to get back to his wife Anne Hathaway because it's been like 20 years now, and she's probably wondering where he got to. I mean, like, no offense to Anne Hathaway or anything, but if I had a choice between her and an immortal Charlize Theron, well, I know which one I'd be choosing. Anyway, so he makes a raft out of bits of leftover ship that washed up with him and just kind of says, fuck it, let's see where I end up. And wouldn't you know it, he ends up right back at Ithaca, the very place he's been trying to get to this whole time. That was lucky. Now, while all this has been going on, Anne Hathaway's been fending off potential suitors who all want to marry her so they can become the next king of Ithaca, and as you can imagine, they're getting a bit impatient after 2 decades of being dicked around. Anyway, can Anne—
Dude, the pacing on this storyline, it was so bad. It was so bad. Like, I kind of didn't even understand what was happening. I mean, I did, but I didn't understand why. I didn't understand why the things were happening the way they were happening, I guess. It was kind of quick. I think the whole thing, really, if you add it all together, was like 15 minutes of the movie. They made it a whole big deal. And then, I'm not counting the ending, that ending fight scene. I'm not counting that as part of the arc. And I felt like it just kind of happened at random moments just to be like, hey, remember, this is a thing that's happening. It was in the book. It was in the book. Remember that? Even though they changed so much shit in the book. And we're going to get to that ending pretty soon because, holy shit. It's very telling.
Anne Hathaway hold out until Matt Damon rescues himself for the first time in cinema history, or will Ithaca fall to chaos and bloodsheds?
Another movie of Matt Damon just trying to get home.
You know, when I see the frankly ludicrous amount of praise that's been heaped on this movie over the past week, it kind of reminds me of the borderline hysteria around Black Panther a few years ago, except with pretentious wannabe intellectuals terrified of getting lumped in with the unwashed plebs if they dare to criticize Nolan's masterpiece, or just partisan culture warriors willing to say and do basically anything to—
Dude, I like it when people are trying to insult me. You smell bad, probably. You are an incel. You are retarded. It's like, sure, you can call me all the things. Like, I've been doing this for years and years and years. You think that your dumbass insults are gonna get to me? I embrace it. I love it when people insult me because you know what that means? It means I'm getting engagement, baby.
To own the chuds. The movie's been dogged by controversy ever since the initial casting was announced, so I guess we might as well
It was
start
done on
by
purpose.
addressing the three elephants in the room. Yeah.
What's it called? It's like cognitive dissonance, choice supportive bias. Oh, there's a Wikipedia article on choice supportive bias, and that is literally what is happening with people defending slop video games, corpo slop movies, corpo slop TV shows. Choice supportive bias. And corporations have figured out how to manipulate people.
Yes, Elliot Page, Lupita Nyong'o, and Zendaya are all in this movie. Yes, Elliot Page looks just as ridiculous as you might imagine trying to run in a heavy suit of armor. No, they don't have more than a couple of minutes of screen time each, and they're largely...
I laughed out loud whenever that beginning scene happened when Ellen Page was running. I was like, wow, they didn't put the helmet on her, you know, so she doesn't fall and hit her head.
Irrelevant to the story, and Zendaya doesn't even act so much as exists on screen. And yeah, I know it's the principle of the thing for a lot of people, and if you're really bothered by stuff like that, it's kind of like me saying I only spat in your food a little bit.
Oh, bro, that's another thing. People think that I'm so mad about all these things. I'm so mad about Wolverine looking like a little bitch boy. I'm so mad that they ruined the Odyssey. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, they can ruin this shit if they want. They're just gonna crumble the entire culture, which it already has, but they're you know, trying to rebuild shit, I guess. Trying to rebuild their culture again, but trying to pander a little bit more to the chuds. They're trying to not be so in your face about all the trans stuff. They had the trans person playing a character, but they didn't make the character trans, you know what I mean? Well, it ain't gonna fucking work. A lot of people are like, oh, this movie is so successful. Well, it hasn't made its money back yet as of the making of this video.
So why aren't you eating it? The point I'm getting at here is that as much as these three dominated the headlines around this movie, they really don't have much of an impact on the film itself, and they had no impact on my perception of it. They come and go so quickly you barely even notice them. While we're talking about casting though, probably the funniest bit for me was John Leguizamo as a blind old servant of Odysseus who's been given a shitty white wig to try to make him look older, and basically nothing else.
And I thought he was the best character in the whole movie. I thought he was the best acted. I thought he was the most interesting, and he still fucking sucked. It's so embarrassing, dude. I didn't think that I was gonna like his character as much as I did, which I didn't like him. But once again, I'll say he is the best character.
I mean, couldn't you have just hired an actual old man? Are you really telling me that John Leguizamo was so
weird.
fucking good that nobody else could play this role? Ah, whatever.
Nope.
Ultimately,
had to do it for the Latino representation, because that's what that guy John Leguizamo, I don't know. That's what he's always bitching about. Oh, I'm so glad finally we're getting Latino representation, even though it's not a fucking Latino character. Like, what are we doing here? That's not Latino representation. You're just doing the thing that you were bitching about 10 years ago. Cultural appropriation? Are we fucking serious, man?
you'll either accept stuff like this, or you just won't watch the movie in the first place. For me though, the bigger issue with the Odyssey is the creative philosophy behind it, and I might as well just come out and say it here. I was pretty fucking bored with this movie.
Yep.
Not because of the source material, not because of the labyrinthine adventure, and not because of the runtime, but because it just refuses to let me in. Nolan's slavish devotion to rendering everything into a grounded, believable tone robs the Odyssey of the very things that make it so compelling. Its mythology and its sense of wonder. It's like looking at some beautiful sculpture rendered into a mathematical formula. You can sense the work and precision that went into it, but it doesn't really stir anything in you. There wasn't a single character in this movie that I could ever truly empathize with and root for, because none of them talk or act anything like real human beings. Damn man, even the fucking gods are boring. I mean really, Zendaya's the only one who takes physical form, and even then she acts more like Odysseus' conscience than an active part of the narrative. Odysseus himself is written as this weirdly cold, distant, aloof figure who barely reacts to the things he sees and experiences. His decisions imply that he's got a strong sense of
and the down talking. I'll give you an example. It's whenever somebody's talking like this, and then they just, trail off, and that's it. And that's how everybody talks in this movie, and it's just very, very annoying. And I just don't really like it, and I wish that this movie just never would have been made. Ah! That's what this movie was. It was either that people talking like that, or they just fucking yelling.
Adventure, recklessness, and curiosity about the world, but his emotions and dialogue are the exact opposite. He's like an android journeying home with no particular sense of urgency or investment, simply because he's programmed to do it. Where's the loving husband and father desperate to see his family again? Where's the absent king eager to retake the throne and lead his kingdom again? Where's the bold and witty adventurer,
There's no emotion,
the compassionate leader of men? By the time the finale rolled around, I didn't particularly care whether he made it home because he doesn't seem to care much either. The movie seems to be portraying him as a vaguely traumatized war veteran haunted by his actions at Troy and his guilt over the sacking of the city, which I get the impression wasn't really part of Homer's original story. And his various trials and setbacks are framed more as a well-deserved punishment for what he sees as his betrayal of his principles, which is—
Tell me you haven't read the book without telling me you haven't read the book, bro. Even if you did read the book, you don't remember it very much. You probably were forced to read it in high school, and a bunch of leftoids are just pretending because they don't fucking read.
Nice and all, but it also robs him of agency because he's no longer striving towards the goal of getting home, but instead just kind of waiting for the next horrible thing to happen to him. His reunion with his son, his wife, and his vengeance against the suitors should be this triumphant, cathartic release of emotions that have been building through the whole movie, but it all comes across as flat, procedural, and obligatory. Just a brutal fight in semi-darkness where you can barely even tell what's going on. Shit, man,
Right.
Even watching an old dog finally dying after being reunited with his beloved master for the first time in years, which should be—
The script, the writing, the pacing of the movie, this whole movie feels like that they plugged in the script to ChatGPT and then just edited it to make it feel more human, and they completely failed at that even.
an emotional slam dunk doesn't really hit because the character himself barely even acknowledges it. The only actor who really seems to be going for it is Robert Pattinson, who plays every trick in the book to make his antagonist as much of an obnoxious, cowardly asshole as possible. It works. You really do hate the guy, but if the only character in your movie that inspires any kind of emotion is your antagonist, well, you've got problems. Another problem here is the dialogue, not just the jarring use of American accents and modern slang, swear words and terminology, but how
They also made Robert Pattinson's character like a shitty white man frat boy type. That's what the character came across as. I don't know if Robert Pattinson did that on purpose or if they made him do that, but dude, I did not. It made him seem like he was the captain of the football team, you know what I mean?
fucking on the nose and clumsy it is.
10 years on this fucking beach. Let's go home.
Come on, Chris, you're fucking better than this, man. On the technical side of things, I'll
He
at
did it
least
for
give
the
Nolan
awards.
props for using practical effects as much as possible and
I have a conspiracy theory. I think he wanted to make the worst movie that would win all the awards. Just to be like, fuck you. Fuck all of this whole system that you've all built. Maybe. Or maybe he's just one of the corpos. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he's actually one of the corpos. But the conspiracy theory may be real. Maybe he did it on purpose.
shooting in real locations. That kind of shit really is a vanishing art, and it's nice to see that level of dedication and commitment in modern Hollywoods. I mean, I'm not entirely sure where he did his location shooting, but it doesn't look or feel anything like the Eastern Mediterranean, where it's meant to be set. With the washed out colours, overcast grey skies, and bleak windswept hillsides, it looks more like Scotland in November. And I guess that really sums up the overall tone of this film. Bleak, dull, muted, and relentlessly dour.
I don't remember what movie it was, but they were portraying Istanbul, and they had like a yellow filter over everything to make it look like it was a shitty place. But if you actually go to Istanbul, it's very lively and colorful.
An adventure without spirit, a hero's journey without a hero, an epic saga without any sense of scale and grandeur, a clinical, precise, finely engineered movie made by a man of great technical skill and intellectual power, who can process and study every line of the source material, but who seems to lack the romantic soul and the wonder and the sheer humanity to bring it all to life. For me, The Odyssey was an impressive, thought-provoking movie with an incredible cast, made by one of the most successful directors of his age, and it'll probably go on to rake in a lot of money and awards just like we all knew it would. But ultimately, it's a movie I'll probably never watch or even think about again.
Right.
And that really is the most damning indictment of all.
I barely even remember the movie. It was so forgettable. The only reason I remember stuff is because I vaguely remember The Odyssey from high school.
Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck off. I'll stay as long as I like. Yeah, The Odyssey's trash. And it's not even actually trash. It's not like it's a 0 out of 10. It's just mid. And the marketing tricked people into loving this movie, and they can't admit that they didn't like it very much and that they're going to forget about it because, once again, choice supportive bias. You know what? You know what? I think I'm going to leave the Wikipedia article down in the comments just so you can go check it out because holy shit, it explains what's been going on to a fucking T.
Christopher Nolan says Homer's original Odyssey ending was so grim and misogynistic that it had to be altered for the film. This is the ending in the book. You can listen to the end.
Your part is now to tell me of the women, those who dishonored me and the innocent. His own old nurse, Eurycleia, said, I will then. Child, you know you'll have the truth from me. 50, all told, they are, your female slaves, trained by your lady and myself in service, wool carding, and the rest
Doesn't
of
he
it,
kill
taught to be submissive. 12 went bad. Flouting me, flouting Penelope too. Telemachus being barely grown, his mother would never let him rule the serving women. Tell those women who were the suitors' harlots to come here. Then he called Telemachus to his side and the 2 herdsmen. Sharply Odysseus said, these dead must be disposed of first of all.
Yep.
Direct the women. Tables and chairs will be scrubbed with sponges, rinsed and rinsed again. When our great room is fresh and put in order, take them outside, these women, between the roundhouse and the palisade, and hack them with your sword blades till you cut the life out of them, and every drop of sweet Aphrodite under the rotting suitors when they lay down in secret. As he spoke, here came the women in a bunch, all wailing, soft tears on their cheeks. They fell to work to lug the corpses out into the courtyard, under the gateway, propping one against the other as Odysseus ordered, for he himself stood over them. In fear, these women bore the cold weight of the dead. The next thing was to scrub off chairs and tables and rinse them down.
All the blood.
Telemachus and the herdsmen scraped the traitors floor with hose, but made the women carry out all blood and mire.
That's smart.
When the great room was cleaned up once again, at sword point, they forced them out between the roundhouse and the palisade, pell-mell, to huddle in that dead end without exit. Telemachus, who knew his mind, said curtly, I would not give the clean death of a beast to trulls who made a mockery of my mother, and of me too, you sluts who lay with suitors.
Oh, fuck.
He tied one end of a hawser to a pillar and passed the other about the roundhouse top.
They don't make them the way they used to, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's why they got to change it.
Oh, wow!
So that no one's toes could touch the ground. They would be hung like doves or larks in springes,
dude, this is brutal.
triggered in a thicket where the birds think to rest. A cruel nesting.
Oh man, I can't wait for that Elon version.
So now in turn each woman thrust her head into a noose and swung, yanked high in air, to perish there most piteously. Their
Damn, he really goes into detail on this.
feet danced for a little, but not long. From storeroom to the court they brought Melanthius, chopped with swords to cut his nose and ears off, pulled off his genitals to feed the dogs, and raging hacked his hands and feet away, as their own hands
I can't believe they made us read this in high school. This is kind of crazy.
and feet called for a washing. They went indoors to Odysseus again. Their work was done. He told Eurycleia, bring me brimstone and a brazier, medicinal fumes to purify my hall. Then tell Penelope to come and bring her maids. The first thing is to purify this place. And all the servants came now, bearing torches in twilight, crowding to embrace Odysseus, taking his hands to kiss his head and shoulders while he stood there, nodding to everyone, and overcome by longing and by tears.
After they murdered everybody, they all cried together tears of happiness to know that finally the evil is dead. Christopher Nolan has said, so here in Homer's Odyssey, after the suitors are killed, Odysseus forces 12 female servants to haul away the corpses and scrub the blood from the hall. Then he orders their execution. Telemachus refuses them an honorable death by the sword and hangs them instead. The reason why they try to remove this type of messaging is because they don't want people in the West to realize that this is their heritage.
And the movie was R-rated anyways.
I want to center it on that and make it feel very...
Why was it R-rated? Who decided that? That was not an R-rated type movie. Nothing, it wasn't over-the-top brutal. There wasn't any nudity. There wasn't any bad language. What the hell?
Fresh for modern audiences.
Please explain why did he kill the females? They were traitors sleeping with the suitors that were trying to destroy his house. That's the reason why. Yeah, duh.
Yeah, it was being invaded by a bunch of crazy leftoids. Even having problems back then.
Now, we've had a lot of time talking about how leftoids are killing each other and stuff, but we gotta talk about the absolute dumpster fire that's going on in the entertainment sphere. So Christopher Nolan desecrated the Odyssey, according to Elon Musk, so that he would be eligible for an Academy Award. Now, this is referring to the fact that to get an Academy Award, you need to have a certain amount of inclusivity. So
you gotta be gay as fuck, bro.
Add a trans person here and sprinkle in a sub-Saharan African as Helen of Troy in order to be, viable for an award. I mean, we all know it was the Jews that manipulated him into putting Goyslop in his movie, but that's a good theory also. I'm kidding, obviously. I would never say that on YouTube. Something
Yeah, it was the international investors for real, though.
Anti-Semitic like that.
By the way, the most hilarious thing out of all of this is the Odyssey. Christopher Nolan is owned by Universal. You know who owns Universal? Comcast. You know who is their main investors? BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. And you know what Comcast does? They fund and operate over 500 data centers. Which, by the way, I don't know if you know this, leftoids fucking hate data centers. And they're actively funding the data centers without even realizing it. It's crazy, dude.
I feel chained. You should know. Fully demonetized on YouTube, and I am a good boy. All right, listen. You can't. I'm Jewish. I'm not allowed to be anti-Semitic. Okay, it's obviously out of respect or something. Anyway, so Elon Musk vows to release his own version of the Odyssey that's AI generated before the end of 2026.
Yeah.
Before this year ends, Grok Imagine will make a full-length movie of the Odyssey that is historically accurate and true to the art of Homer, wrote Musk, who slammed Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey for months over casting Lupita Nyong'o and Elliot Page among other criticisms. Now, again, I have been saying all along, the thing I am most excited about AI is the intricate racist roasts it could come up with specifically against Jews and black people. I'm kidding, obviously. I would never use the AI for something like that. What I mean what I really like about AI is that it's putting Hollywood on notice. Hollywood is totally cooked. They are actually finally having real competition. Now, will this be good? Probably not. It will probably be dog shit. Now, everyone will watch it because they want to see what AI can actually make. The views might be nice, but this is going to be shit. I don't want to sugarcoat the shit with you.
I'm going to watch it.
Sugar-coated shit that people keep trying to feed you, and I don't believe in that. Now, the reality is, this is not going to be good, all right? It's not going to be good. We all know that. However,
it's going to be more entertaining.
And the women will be blonde. I'm just saying, that's almost guaranteed. Now, the thing I like about AI is that it's a competition. I like that AI is literally a competition to Hollywood that nothing else could have been before. Because Hollywood had a complete stranglehold on the entertainment industry. If you want to make something expensive, it's got to come out of Hollywood. All right? And AI now, basically, if it can actually produce good-looking shit, it will destroy the Hollywood Goyslop enterprise. It would obliterate it, and it would be incredible. We would have Greeks actually wearing Greek armor instead of people coming from Wakanda and wearing, I don't know what the fuck the shit they're wearing, t-shirts from Hot Topic. All right, I'm just saying. All right, they are not going to call their dad dad.
You know what Wakanda reminds me of? Washutu. Do you know what the Washutu is? It's the tribes, or the tribe in Ace Ventura 2, When Nature Calls. That's what I think of every time somebody says Wakanda.
They are going to call him
Bumblebee Tuna?
Father, which is
Bumblebee
exactly
Tuna.
what they called him in ancient Greece. And clearly Helen of Detroit is not going to be showing up in the Grok Imagine version. Now, Elon Musk also says he's down to fully fund Mel Gibson with $100 million to make a historically accurate adaptation of the Odyssey. We might be getting 3 Odysseys this year. The AI, the Mel Gibson one, and also the Christopher Nolan one. Right?
Wait, I didn't know that the Mel Gibson one was actually a thing that was happening. That actually sounds like it's going to be really fucking good. I love Mel Gibson movies.
This is going to be... we are getting like an actual cinematic universe over here. Like, it's going to be insane. I'm excited to see what it's all about, actually. I really want this to happen. I want pushback. Now, Elon Musk, whether you like him or hate him, I like him personally. I think he's great. wants to compete in the Goy Wars. All right, he's getting involved in the Goy Wars, and it's going to be diabolical. This is the culture war taken to another extreme. Until this very point in time, all of social media, public broadcasting, media as a whole, Hollywood, music, movie productions, it was all controlled by the libtards. The rich, multi-billionaire democroids wanted to push this garbage to all of us. And everything changed when Elon Musk bought Twitter. Elon bought Twitter, and all of a sudden, people are free to say things all over the place. And Elon looks like he's actually starting to try to come up with some sort of way to battle it out against the woke media creation industry instead of just the people that are.
So I've decided to change the term woke because the left just, that they're like, define woke. Okay, degenerate culture. So I just call it the degen culture.
Sitting there and twiddling their thumbs behind the keyboard, masturbating to whatever goy slop ends up on their screen. Like, we are noticing something incredible right now.
Oh, dude, whenever I say goy slop and I call people goyim, they crash the fuck out. You're just anti-Semitic. Like, what are you talking about, bro? You've been talking about how much you hate Israel and the Jews this whole time. You're just lying.
Elon is the billionaire or trillionaire that's actually pushing back against the infinite machine that was just controlling everything. Now, again, this is great. Even if the movie is bad, it's great. And he is pushing something wonderful.
Are you telling me the international investors who hate America are trying to destroy America by manipulating our culture to make everything suck? What? Oh, wait, no, he didn't say that, but I'm saying that.
Chris Nolan is an anti-white racist, he says, and he says one black cast member in the Odyssey wrecked Elon for weeks. Yeah, I guess it's probably the whole more it's the idea of how the entire global leftist ideology is the eradication of white people and Western culture. And Jews. You could
unless they're trans.
Sprinkle Jews in there too, I guess, because if you've been paying attention, it really seems like that shit comes together sometimes. Now, it is insane how white people actually don't want to get erased and eradicated and destroyed. Now, this is crazy because, I totally thought they would just keel over and die and just let themselves get steamrolled by, homosexual libtards. But it turns out they don't want that to happen at all. This is crazy.
What?
Now, Elon was just on a UK show where they tried to press him for funding far-right movements and propagandizing people with a far-right anti-Muslim movie. And his response was insane.
You support not just the populist right, but the far right. In fact, very fringe parties in some countries.
No, I support the normal people.
Okay.
What do you call the far right? Falsely.
You think is the normal person. Okay.
Yes.
Didn't answer
literally
the question.
This is the pushback I wanted to see. This is the based pushback I wanted. You're a far-right Nazi. And you're like, yeah, I just want borders. I want a country that has borders.
Go back 10 or 15 years, and these policies were completely normal. In fact, one of the tricks that I think is funny. One thing that's quite funny is to take a speech from Obama and Hillary, and then go to someone and say, who's sort of on the sort of what I call the lunatic left, and say, what do you think of the speech by Trump? I'm like, oh wow, he's the worst person ever. Actually, that was a speech by Obama, or actually, that was a speech by Hillary.
I agree. No, I agree that the center of gravity in this country has shifted. Certainly, the Democratic Party shifted to the left. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people like Rupert Lowe. I'm talking
right,
about
please.
people.
It's actually just normal people. It's just normal people. It's just normal people. And and here are the principles. And tell me which of these sound terrible. That we should have secure borders. That we should have safe cities. That we should have sensible spending.
Huh?
Which of those three are?
Then you're a Nazi. I'm sorry, you're a Nazi because you want to arrest black people that commit crimes?
What?
Oh my god.
What?
Oh my god. You're going to disrespect their culture like that?
Are far-right fringe. And I would like to just admonish you and the media for the absurd characterization of the far-right. It is false and misleading and nonsense. Please keep this part in.
We'll keep all of this.
So good.
Let me.
I am like an Elon Musk stan, but he cheated in a video game. He saved Western civilization. Okay, I am not even exaggerating. He is probably the most, or at least in the top 3 most consequential human beings in our generation. Okay, not even exaggerating. Purchasing Twitter is absolutely massive.
Don't cut this. It changed everything, and actually, I think it made the left worse because it exposed them, and they kind of were just like, all right, well, then we're just going to go harder, and we don't care if you think we're lying now.
Part.
Let me push back on that. Let me push back on that because you have...
Don't let that bitch talk.
Elon, you have, what is it, close to 250 million followers on X.
Yeah, because
you say things like,
popular guy.
Quote, civil war in Britain is inevitable. Just a question of when.
On the current trend, yes.
True.
When were you last
True and based. Holy shit.
A few years ago.
By the way, this is every British guy's talking point. It's like, you're like, man, I really don't like that Muslims raped 250,000 kids in the UK. And they'll respond by being like, oh yeah, well, when were you in the UK? I may not have been in the UK in 5 years, but I still don't like that Muslims raped 250,000 children. And they're always like,
right.
What if you would have been there?
And do they not think that he has friends in the UK? Like, he's got friends in the UK, like Tommy Robinson.
And you would have known that, lady, we see videos every single... There was a guy that was just beheaded, okay, in public.
Exactly. So I live there. And
this is like the anecdotal response, and it's crazy. Like,
yeah, even going outside the UK, the thing that just happened in Berlin.
Like, I don't know, man, if this is like a woman thing, but it's like...
Yes.
Women are usually shorter than men. Well, I'm taller than some men. You know what I mean? It's like every single time you got like this slop. Every single time you get the same slop every time. It's crazy. It's like, bro, 250,000 kids were raped by Muslims. I wasn't raped by a Muslim. Yeah. Lady, hello, what the fuck?
I'm there the whole time. That is nonsense.
You live in a cloistered existence.
No, I don't, actually. And the numbers also disprove what you say.
What numbers?
All
the numbers that I don't have on hand, but the numbers.
The numbers about correct. London is a much safer city than any city in the United States.
Straight. They will look in your face and they will lie to you.
Yeah, and they don't care.
London, there is an average of one rape every 53 seconds. There is no city in the United States with that stat. She is talking specifically about gun violence or something. All right, she's picking one absolutely gay statistic, all right, in order to prove her point. All right, in London, there is a rape every 53 seconds. Understand how horrible that is.
Violent crime in the UK is not where you think it is. In fact, it's coming down. You have painted, and because
down.
You have so many followers, so many Americans believe it, a kind of view that Europe and the UK are kind of, overrun with terrifying Muslim immigrants.
That's literally true. The majority of your mayors are Muslim now. Like, it's just objectively true that that's happening. The most common name in England is Mohammed. Literally, the most common name in England is Mohammed. Okay? Like, I'm not even going to make believe that, like, the funny thing is, these people think that they can manipulate you with their bullshit, but everyone with eyes knows they're lying.
Rape on every corner, there's a sort of civilizational destruction.
There literally is a civilizational destruction. Right? They are knocking down, they are just knocking down statues and replacing them with Palestine flags. Yes. There literally is a civilizational destruction. The economy is trash. They're funding foreigners. There's rape everywhere. It's objectively true. Churches are getting burnt down suspiciously.
Those things. If you have a large and rapidly growing group of people whose beliefs are antithetical to Western beliefs, at some point there will be a reckoning. They will try to implement their views. And those who oppose it will oppose it, and that's what you call civil war. And obviously, this is the trend.
So she's like, you're getting everyone all riled up by saying civil war is coming to the UK, and he's like, yeah.
And
dude, that is literally what the Muslims want to do. No, like, people pretend they know what Muslims are like, they know what Islam is like, but they've never read the book. I haven't actually read the book, but I have listened to people who have read the book. And when you look into their end times lore, dude, it is literally revelation in the Bible, in the Christian Bible, but the opposite. They think that their evil people are actually the good guys.
And you absolutely do live in a cloistered existence. And
what's it called? The Mahdi or something like that?
We can go on a tour of Britain.
Sure. I'd be very happy to come on a tour of Britain.
And you will see for yourself.
You come see my country that I live in all the time, and you haven't been to a few years ago.
I've been there literally a bajillion freaking times. What are we even doing? And the Elon pushback is so good. I am so happy that we have this guy on our side. This guy on our side is absolute cinema. It's amazing. Now they also asked him about the Citizen Vigilante film, the one that he was actually pushing. You know, you remember the one I'm talking about with the guy that was out there shooting rapists that happened to coincidentally be Muslim, right? Basically, and he was like, "Yeah, hello, it's a movie, right? Whatever." I don't.
Yeah, and then the actor was like, "This movie is absolutely disgusting. I want no part of it, bitch."
The actual interview right now, but they said, "Well, what about the Citizen Vigilante film that you were pushing that was pushing violence?" And he's like, it's a movie." Like based. Anyway, the funny thing is, there is a war going on, specifically regarding woke movies, in the interesting realm of the Daily Wire. That's right. We got some woke Jew influence invading in our spaces. That's right. So Ben Shapiro had this to say: "In my honest opinion, a lot of conservatives are missing the biblical forest for the woke trees in the Nolan's Odyssey. Yes, the casting of Elliot Page is silly and egregious. There's the thing: Nolan's The Odyssey is an apologia for Christian morality poured over a Greek vase. The entire movie is rooted in Nolan's terms: Zeus is law. The law is treat others as you want to be treated because anyone might be God. Now, and clearly, there's nothing like Greek mythology. It's not implicit in Homer. It is a direct rip from biblical morality, substituting because anyone might be a god for because man was made in the image of God. Nolan then uses this rule and uses it as his moral glue, yada yada, blah blah blah. Anyway, it's pretty awesome. Anyway, that's the point. Anywho, Matt Walsh had a different opinion. Just saw The Odyssey. Despite what you might have heard, literally all of the criticism by the conservatives were entirely correct. The movie is woke as you fear, if not more so. The DEI casting is atrocious, completely takes you out of the story right from the beginning. But even worse than that, it is Nolan's decision to turn Odysseus into an anachronistic, whiny, solemn shell of a man, plagued by trauma and guilt." Now, this is funny because as I've told chat earlier, any of you that have your wife, like, just out there, any women in my audience that are like, "Man, my husband really needs to go to marriage counseling." Lady, he doesn't need marriage counseling. He needs a blowjob. It's impossible to overlook these flaws because the film is not terribly entertaining or well constructed. For the most part, it's disjointed, dull, self-serious, disenchanted, somehow feeling both verbose and overly rushed at the same time. The dialogue is some of the worst I've ever heard in a critically acclaimed movie. On the nose and clunky are descriptions that can't even begin to describe the script.
It's critically acclaimed, by the way, because there's money pushing it to be critically acclaimed. So much money, dude. $100 million for the marketing, by the way.
At no point in the story does Nolan ever transport the audience to the ancient world. You never feel like you're 3,000 years in the past. You feel like you're watching modern Americans put on a pageant because they are.
Yeah.
Nobody was calling this thing.
It felt like a stage play.
A masterpiece. It was made by a movie director not named Christopher Nolan, bro. So you got a civil war going on in the Daily Wire. You got Ben Shapiro saying the Odyssey is actually a modern classic. You have Matt Walsh saying the Odyssey is fake and gay. I personally haven't seen the Odyssey because it's fake and gay. So
yeah,
therefore Matt Walsh,
I yo-hoed it, and I can confirm it is fake and gay.
Automatically wins by default. Now, if you want to look at the actual reviews on the Odyssey, all right, you got 5 stars, great, 3 hours of entertainment. 5 stars, incredible, start to finish, no notes. 5 stars, worth every penny. We'll be seeing again. 5 stars, phenomenal story, amazing action. 5 stars, a masterpiece. 5 stars. This is AI. Okay, this is AI slop reviews.
Yeah, those are bots.
Reviewing AI slop movies, okay? This is the shit propaganda that we're dealing with, okay? And it's unbelievable. The bot reviews are doing this. Now, again, a lot of people started noticing that reviews are fake and gay, all right? Somehow, this got higher reviews than The Lord of the Rings, which obviously is bullshit. But Asmongold just dropped this one. Oy vey, can you use a new cash infusion in your life? The answer is obviously yes. Don't be a brokey. Download Cash Kick right now. Link is in the description if you want to literally...
Like, I get it that he's taking a hit to his revenue, but, like, come on. Get some better sponsors.
Earn money by playing games. Sitting on the toilet, make a couple bucks with Cash Kick. Listening to a Nux video on the sorry state of society? Download Cash Kick. Are you black-pilled? Well, get rich. Use Cash Kick. Are you...
I think he knows that nobody actually is going to click this shit and download this shit. I know some people are doing it because they're retarded, but, like, don't.
red pilled and you want to make a difference, well, cash infusion helps. Use Cash Kick. Cash Kick, link in the description. You can play a game like Dice Dream, where you're just playing around, making money by playing video games, and just clicking the link in the description alone helps support me. I know that I am fully demonetized on YouTube because the truth does not come for free. So you could help literally for free by downloading Cash Kick, making an account, and that can be done for free, and I literally get paid for it. I get paid for free, you get paid for free. Doesn't get any more Jewish than that. Your support is incredibly appreciated and honestly necessary.
The fact that he's pushing this is pretty fucking Jewish, man, I gotta say.
Back to the video.
The Odyssey has officially overtaken Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King on Rotten Tomatoes. Christopher Nolan's Odyssey.
I got some things to say about Rotten Tomatoes. The reviews are 1000% manipulated, and guess what? It's not illegal. So if it's not illegal and it's easily manipulatable, you know they're gonna fucking do it. Because corpos are disgusting. They will do things that are disgusting as long as they're not illegal until they become illegal. And by the way, the same people who own the Odyssey own Rotten Tomatoes. How about that?
Sits at 95% reviews, edging past Return of the King. The Odyssey also leads with 97% popcorn meter score from verified ratings compared to Return of the King's only 86%. Rotten Tomatoes.
Now to be clear, Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, is the greatest movies ever made.
True.
Nothing beats them, period. So,
I have literally watched The Lord of the Rings more than anything that I have ever watched. I watch it every Christmas, and sometimes throughout the year I'll put them on, just in the background, because, you know, you can just leave it on and it just keeps going. And I've seen it so many times, I know what's happening. It is absolute cinema. For real.
Anytime someone says, oh, this is as good, they're liars. It's fraud. They're trying to fill your goy head with slop. That's right. Okay.
And you fall
That's
for
right.
it.
They're lying immediately. That's how you know. And I'm seeing someone in my chat say, arguable. You're banned, bro. You're banned. It's not arguable. All right. It is slop and lie. Yeah. It is true. It is the best movies ever made, period. The end. If you disagree, you're getting banned. I believe in freedom of speech unless you disagree with God, or if you think that The Lord of the Rings isn't the best movie ever.
The Odyssey is a 97% score. The raw JSON data proves that it's actually 56%. See the real numbers for yourself on the Odyssey page. A few lines down, you'll see JSON data block that looks like this, the liked count and not liked count, extracting the true poll score summary. Out of the 886 active Rotten Tomatoes users who, at the time of this writing, navigated to the site on their own to write the Odyssey, 56% rated it positively. The current generated 97% score displayed so prominently is simply an artifact of a push notification pipeline heavily biased towards opening weekend ticket buyers. So apparently...
Understand what that means. It's rigged. They rig consensus to trick you. This is just a microcosm of... Remember when Donald Trump was running for election against Hillary Clinton, and all the polls said that Hillary Clinton had a 92% chance of winning?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that didn't happen for those of you that don't remember. All right, that's how it works. You know, I'm just saying. Speaking of the Odyssey and all the riggers trying to fix this shit, you know what rhymes with rigor? Bigger. Bigger rhymes with rigor. Now, nothing else. There are no other words that rhyme with it. So anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is it's very obviously rigged in order to create some sort of fake consensus. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but this is an old strategy that people have used because everyone, especially women, like to be part of the majority. This is a very, very popular social manipulation tactic. All right? They just tell you what the majority is, and everyone...
And dude, the fact that people deny it, okay, they're either lying or stupid. And probably both. They're probably lying because they're stupid and they don't actually know, but they kind of know. But they also don't care because it fits their narrative, which, once again, choice supportive bias. Look it up. It's down there in the comments.
Will want to be part of that majority. So they make a fake majority to manipulate you. This is what they do for voting, which is fraud. By the way, it's actually illegal to post knowingly fake polls like that, and as well as through movie reviews.
Yeah, but who's going to stop them? They own everything.
In order to create some sort of fake consensus to say, hey, Woke isn't dead. How could you say woke is dead? We have this fucking bullshit woke-ass movie with Achilles as Ellen Page, 4'9" castrated woman as Achilles. And don't worry, guys, everyone loves it. Look at this score. You should also make your movies fake and gay.
Emily Wilson was mixed on the Odyssey. This is exactly the twist the culture war needed. Basically, she was the one that made the 2017 translation of the Odyssey, the Foyd edition. She questioned a range of omissions to the incoherent messaging that both condemns war and physical cowardice. Very modern.
And he seems to feel bad about being a warrior, and we never actually get to see...
These people are so gay, because winning wars is awesome. It's always been awesome, all right? And women don't understand that. All right, I'm not trying to be rude to women. Some would argue that it's very nice. I would argue that it's feminine, whatever they mean. And it's actually awesome to win wars. It always has been awesome to win wars. Women will never get it. You're not built that way. That's okay. You're built to nurture and to love and to create. And we are built to win wars and protect you. And so you don't have to worry about winning wars because that's our job. Our job is winning the wars. Your job is loving and creating and nurturing. Okay, I want to make it clear. Okay, so if you are against wars, that's fine, because we're the ones fighting in them. All right, so just make that clear.
Doing much warrioring, which I thought in a way was a bit of a shame. And I think that's one of the big challenges for Nolan, right? Yeah. Is that he has to make the protagonist a likable all-American hero, basing this on a poem where the hero is not necessarily motivated by being a nice suburban parent, but actually by, he wants glory, and he wants to get spoils from the side of a city.
So even she's criticizing it? That's funny.
Going back.
The woke feminist that rewrote the Odyssey to be more...
She's gonna get death threats from the leftoids. They're gonna excommunicate her from the cult. You can't go against the narrative.
Gay and anti-man is criticizing Christopher Nolan for feminizing it even more somehow.
Back to the poem and looking at, okay, what fuels all this? What's sort of there behind it? The golden rule of the idea that, you know, treat others as you would be treated. The glue that binds society together. The more I thought about it, the more that became important. And society can only function with respect for strangers. It's a point of connection with this text of 3,000 years ago that isn't just a great adventure story, but it's also a kind of ethical...
The real story for the Odyssey is why Somalis should live in Minnesota.
Moral foundation that connects us to a very different time.
It's crazy that you can say that.
He's so smart and elegant and understanding
about the Odyssey when everything in the Odyssey is the exact opposite of this. They're literally sailing across the fucking ocean to steal a bitch back. They raid a city, kill everybody in the fucking city. Then they said, all right, well, everybody's dead here. I guess let's go back home. And then he gets back to his own house. There's a bunch of fucking foreigners there, and he had to kill them all.
And society can only function with respect for strangers.
You know, the first stops that Odysseus make after sacking Troy is when they go just across the isthmus and sack another town and kill all the men and enslave all the women. And moving on, that's the first thing they do in the course of the journey home.
It's what you do, man. It's what you do. All right, the Foyds wouldn't understand. I'm not endorsing it, but it's the thing to do.
Of course.
They want to get more booty and get more spoils.
Duh, that's what they do. Obviously.
I think it's a film that has some interest in shame, but I don't think it has any interest in glory.
Wow. It has interest in shame, but it has no interest in glory. That is actually that is savage. The Odyssey
is... Do you understand how insane it is that the actual feminist that rewrote the script of the actual original Homer's Odyssey to be gayer and more feminine was criticizing Christopher Nolan for being too gay and feminine? If this isn't like, you know, Goy Wars, Revenge of the Foyd, I don't know what is. And if you want to hear my unfiltered take on things, you should be supporting me on Patreon, because I was specifically told by someone that I will not mention by name, but it was someone important, that I am not allowed to state Helen of KFC on YouTube because KFC is an insult to black people. Now, I didn't know that because KFC is loved by all sorts of folks, but apparently...
Dude, I fucking love KFC, and I see black people in KFC all the time, and when I see them, I'm like, fellow Americans. Because they're not crashing out. They're just buying some fucking chicken, man. I'm a chicken man. Oh, wait. Is that cannibalism?
That's racist, so I can't make that joke anymore. So anyway, if you want to support me on Patreon, that'd be nice. My entire YouTube channels are all demonetized. If you want to support me there, I upload exclusive videos there, like 3-4 a week. 2 of them would probably not be acceptable on YouTube, and the other 2 are just kind of wholesome and fan-requested things, like Adventure Time and Warhammer lore. All right, so if you want to support me there, that would be greatly appreciated.
I need to start doing that.
Thank you so much for everything. This video is sponsored by you brave heterosexuals out there. Because my channels are fully demonetized by YouTube because they have an aversion and allergy to honesty. If you want to support me, I have a Patreon. It's linked in my description. And it is literally my source of income right now. I post exclusive content there like Adventure Time analyses and other things that you request. I am also uploading videos to Rumble, uncensored, and I stream almost every day on Kick. Subscribe so we can surpass Ben Shapiro and become top...
Rumble is my main platform. I love Rumble.
Jew.
Honestly, I love the culture wars so much. It's so fun. I used to hate it. I used to get upset because, you know, we had good culture and you could see that they were ruining everything. But now I think it's just funny because now there's nothing left for them to ruin. They've ruined everything and now we can just make fun of them. And they're not going to take the things that I like because they exist. If you wokeify something old, then guess what? Then it ended. Then it has a definitive end. That was a problem I used to have, was that things just didn't end. Franchises kept going on forever and they were just milking everything. But if it goes woke, then everything that happened before the woke, that's the end.
Rings of Power Season 3? Oh no! Rings of Power! Alright guys, you ready?
Oh shit. Oh. Greatest story ever told, am I right?
Mighty hour come.
This is fan fiction.
To rule them all.
He said the line! Remember that? Remember the line?
Middle Earth will burn.
Is that the first?
Has it not yet occurred to you?
The first Nazgul?
Might well be the price of saving it. Where were you? Trying to get back to you.
Oh!
There are no
What the fuck?
Here. Come with me. The Dark Lord. We have to stop him.
The shadow rises in Middle Earth. How would you like
This looks like trash. This looks like...
Oh god. What the fuck? Come with me? Wait,
right?
What?
Yeah.
That's an orc, though.
Dude, it's so fucking embarrassing.
Oh my god. Just like moral, just stop. The orcs are evil. Orcs canonically are disgusting, heinous, evil creatures. No elf would ever join an orc in a quest or vice versa. Elves and orcs hate each other, and I mean hate each other. But in Rings of Retards, Guy Ladriel is going to have an orc bestie who she is pals with.
We are safe here. We have a home. Must we go to war again?
Trust
I remember
me,
that.
Son, when I tell you that we will never truly be safe until we've made certain Sauron is no more.
As you will it, Lord Father.
Oh my god.
I mean, they do look like leftoids.
A first look at Sauron on Lord of the Rings. This looks like scuffed Loki. It's just not there, man. Shadow of Mordor, Sauron. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly that's the way that I would imagine Sauron to look. First look at Gandalf in Lord of the Rings. I think it looks like Thomas Massey with a hat.
Oh, it's pretty good.
That's bad.
To Shadow, I bid you return.
He is not Sauron. He is...
I'm good.
Like, how does that make any sense that he does that? Because, like, I don't understand. Because the Astari were sent by the Valar to Middle-earth. Like, he was sent by Manwë, specifically, Olorun as Gandalf. The entire premise was to not reveal their true purpose in Middle-earth. They were supposed to manifest the coming of goodness, but not bring it on themselves.
You think they actually knew that? Do you think they actually watched The Lord of the Rings? They plugged it into an AI so they could have a slight understanding of what the story is like and what the lore is like, and then they made a movie based on that. I'm not saying that's what they did, but it feels like that's what they did. That feels like that's what they're doing with every Hollywood movie now, and they're definitely using some kind of AI for pretty much everything. Because if you look it up, they don't deny it. They say that's what they're doing.
He lost his memory? Did that happen?
It's not in the Silmarillion, they just changed it in the show.
First thing to specify is that there's no such thing really as canon in Tolkien.
Not in the book? Yeah. It's very, very odd. Part of me can't believe they're still making the show. Like, we've just been undecided this whole time, and season 3 is finally going to win us over. Amazon Rings of Power minutes watched dropped 60% for season 2.
I'm not even
You
kidding.
think they care?
The reason they haven't cancelled it is that Jeff wants it to continue and fulfill the 5-season commitment. Meanwhile, The Boys has pulled in far more viewers on a fraction of the budget.
What the hell is going on, man? Simon Pegg has been cast as the voice of the Balrog in Lord of the Rings.
Dude, I used to love Simon Pegg, but there's so many L's here recently from celebrities because they want to be part of the celebrity culture. They want to keep getting jobs, so they keep pretending that all of this is good so that they can keep their jobs, so they can stay rich. And it's fucking disgusting, dude. I've lost all respect for all of the celebrities that I used to love.
Has to be a joke, right? Like, I mean, this has to be a fucking joke.
You mean that I get to be in one of the official Lord of the Rings properties? Get the fuck out of here. I still love Shaun of the Dead, though. I'll still watch that a lot, probably once a year. But I ain't watching anything new from the guy unless he goes back to being normal. But he's not going to do that because that's not part of the celebrity culture now. The celebrity culture is just be a liar and make as much money as possible because the economy sucks. I don't want to be poor. Like, get fucked. I don't want people to say mean things about me and get excommunicated from the cult.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So in this video, I'll be once again talking about Christopher Nolan's adaptation of the Greek epic, The Odyssey.
Yeah, we are.
Now, the discourse surrounding this film has been an absolute circus, and that will continue
It's
in
a
this
freak
video.
show.
Now, with the box office numbers, the media is claiming victory with this film.
The freaks have taken over the carnival, and they're burning it down. I think they actually have burned it down, and they're just kind of... They're dancing in the ashes now.
Claiming the narrative of go woke, go broke has been shattered. It's now a proven myth. Now, of course, Vanity Fair here would be very, very afraid to look at films like, I don't know, The Marvels, Supergirl, Snow White, and the endless other examples of films that had woke elements and bombed at the box office. But of course, a lot of people expected this film to do very well, including its critics. This was something that was not expected to completely bomb at the box office, myself included.
Yeah, and I keep seeing the leftoids being like, oh, the Chuds were wrong. I thought they said that this was going to fail. I didn't see anybody saying that this was going to fail. I heard everybody saying that it was going to be trash and it was going to make a lot of money because they spent a lot of money to trick stupid people into watching it. And also a lot of content creators who hate it ended up watching it once, sometimes twice. And bro, those people piss me off too. Not people like Critical Drinker, Nerdrotic. I don't care if they watch it. It's the people that have, like, my size that are like, I have to do it because it's my job. Like, go fuck yourself, dude. It's so easy to just yo-ho it.
I said that this would do well. It was just a question of how much did they limit their maximum reach with the creative decisions made by Nolan. But most importantly, this has served as a very important case study for woke Hollywood and what they're trying to get away with. In fact, with this film, the more we learn about it, the worse things get. In fact, recently, Christopher Nolan, the director, has come out and said that he changed the ending of his film and departed from the source material because the source material's end was so grim and misogynistic. The narcissism of these woke Hollywood directors cannot be understated. They are trying to fix the supposedly problematic work of Homer from nearly 3,000 years ago, and they're so smug about it, it's actually insane. And it's also ironic coming from Nolan, who proudly stated that they wouldn't include an orchestra in the score for this film because that didn't exist during the era that the epic took place, and yet here we are changing the ending of the epic to adapt to modern times. In fact, there's a lot of weird decisions going on here. In fact, there is a story about a Viking ship that was used in this film, and allegedly it was damaged during the filming and the
Oh, dude, let me guess. They didn't fucking pay for the damages.
Owner claims the studio has not paid them. Also, on top of that, you have the media trying to...
I was looking away from the screen. I didn't see that it was actually on the screen. My bad. But yeah, holy shit.
To blame all the backlash on right-wingers while saying that they're only mad about this film because its diverse cast goes against the sort of ideal...
I don't think anybody's actually mad about this. We all called it, man. I mean, if you're mad about shit like this, that's kind of on you. But making fun of it, that's a different thing. People like to pretend that whenever you make fun of something that they like, that you're actually mad about it. Seethe. It's actually successful. You were wrong. You're a fucking liar. That's not what's happening.
Jim Crow universe, they love to see, especially when it comes to older scenes in media. Insane. But things would definitely get to a tither here, ladies and gentlemen, when Critical Drinker would make his final review on this film. People are crashing out. They're very upset about what he said in this video, or what they think he said in many cases, and that's going to be the main focus of this video. But let's backtrack to that quote from Christopher Nolan. You can see other accounts posting about this and getting hit with proposed notes. If you've noticed, on almost every post sharing a negative view of this film, or sharing something that even the director himself said, it's getting hit with proposed notes. They're trying so hard to abuse the note system to add context where the context isn't even needed. But of course, this goes back to Christopher Nolan changing...
Dude, seeing the conversation on Threads was absolutely retarded. I love Threads so much. It is the worst social media platform. People think that it's Blue Sky. Blue Sky is just super gay and like fringe leftoids. Threads is where the violent people are. They will wish death upon you and your children and your grandparents if you go against anything that they love or pretend to love, because it fits their narrative. And I love watching it. It's insane. I don't know why nothing's being done about Threads. I think it's because nobody's paying attention, so nobody cares. But I think more people should be paying attention. I think Threads should be shut the fuck down like 10 times worse than Parler was.
The ending because the original was so grim and misogynistic. And of course, going back to his previous statements, Christopher Nolan refused to use an orchestra for the score of this film because it didn't exist during the era of the source material, but here we are with these changes. And people are quick to point out how ridiculous this entire situation is. Here's one quote saying,
just lies and lies and lies.
And glad Nolan was able to correct the mistakes that Homer made. Just another example of heroes on how...
We are actually so much better than the original creator every single time with everything. That's why they remake everything. That's why they do these adaptations, is because they think the old thing is problematic and they can do it better. Gotta make it fresh for modern audiences. Bro, it's 3,000 years old. There's no such thing as fresh for modern audiences. The modern audience does not fucking exist.
Hollywood being able to right the wrongs, just like The Witcher and Lord of the Rings. Here's another one in quotes. We're making a movie about pre-Columbian America here, but let's not show any human sacrifices or anything like that. That would be grim and problematic. Now, of course, this is referring to Mel Gibson's film Apocalypto, which, of course, kind of tarnishes what Nolan is doing. Mel Gibson did a much better job of respecting the culture he was featuring in his film than Nolan ever did. I mean, it's pretty easy when Nolan didn't feature a single Greek actor in his film about a Greek epic. But here's some more quotes with a screenshot of Achilles here saying, "That is why no one will remember your name." And here's another reply saying, "Except Homer's work has been around for thousands of years, while Nolan's legacy will boil down to that one time he worked with Heath Ledger." And here is another quote saying, "Nolan is a woke midwit who's bent the knee to the madness. Give the $7 million you took from Greek taxpayers back." He used the character names as skin suits to make a story about this melting pot society. And yes, that melting pot society, that diverse cast.
By the way, he replaced one of the most famous characters in the Odyssey, Achilles, with a character that doesn't even fucking exist just so that they can drop a trans character in there. It's hilarious, dude. Like, what a fucking L.
That was featured by Nolan is something that is heavily mocked and criticized for departing from...
You know what people are going to remember about it, even the leftoids? They're not going to remember the movie itself. They're just going to remember the culture war that happened, the battle that happened. They're going to talk... Whenever they bring up the Odyssey, it's going to be whenever they're talking about the culture war, not because they're talking about how much they loved the movie.
From, well, Greek culture, but don't worry. The journalists over at The Atlantic have an answer to this, saying,
great.
A faction of the right is angry over diverse casting in the Odyssey, showing that it imagines antiquity as a kind of idyllic Jim Crow universe in which the integration they despise could not possibly
these people are insane.
Exist. Ladies and gentlemen, we might have found it the most petulant and pathetic article ever written that is dismissing any criticism of this film as the outrage of the right, who want a Jim Crow universe.
If you don't like the Odyssey, you're just a racist incel who want trans people to die.
Jim Crow cinematic universe displayed in every piece of media they consume. That's the only reason why they're criticizing this film. Hey, The Atlantic, what about people with Greek heritage who are writing articles extremely upset about the lack of Greek representation in this film? Are they right-wingers? Are they looking for a Jim Crow universe? Yeah, I don't think so. That just shows how ridiculous all this is. Now, the other thing we recently talked about is the reviews for this film. The Rotten Tomatoes fiasco, where the critics gave it a near 100% score. And as pointed out by people like Asmongold, there's definitely something very manufactured about this. But you have journalists like Paul Tassi just saying, trust Rotten Tomatoes. And then they laugh even more when the audience score showed a 90.
Dude, since when are we trusting Rotten Tomatoes? Like, whenever the Chuds get their movie, the leftoids always want to talk about how Rotten Tomatoes is not a metric to base reviews on because it's manipulated. It gets review bombed. The critics are liars. But whenever it's their thing, they flip it because guess what? They're manipulative liars. They don't actually care. They're just trying to win at any means necessary.
7%, which seems extremely hard to believe given the final trailer for this film got 110,000 likes versus nearly 1 million dislikes. Now, of course, the like to dislike ratio on a YouTube trailer is not going to be a 1-to-1 fit with the reviews. Nobody is saying that. But this level of backlash does not result in a 97% audience score. If you believe that, I don't know what to tell you, but things came out where we learned that these Rotten Tomato scores are very artificial and manipulated, where the real audience score is actually around a 56%. It seems like Rotten Tomatoes, not just on this film, but on many other films as well, are manipulating the score by...
And it's not illegal, so they're going to keep doing it. Also, Comcast owns it, or Universal. Comcast owns Universal, and one of those two own Rotten Tomatoes.
By removing negative reviews, and they say it's all just trolls and bot posts, but it's odd how every troll and bot post seems to be a negative review. In fact, there's other weird things going on in this film where the theaters are constantly sold out, but when people show up to the theaters, there's plenty of empty seats. But
you will see pictures of people who show that, like, look, it actually is full of people. Yeah, that happens sometimes. But the grand majority of the time, that's not even what happens. Dude, when I went to see Endgame, I watched it in an almost empty theater. And that was one of the biggest movies of all time. Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
One person who showed up to the theaters, that is, of course, the Critical Drinker. Yes, people were waiting for his review, some more than others. In fact, you have this user saying, the Critical Drinker hasn't tweeted a main tweet since July 13th. ChatGPT isn't giving him the review he wanted for the Odyssey, so he's trying out different prompts.
That's their go-to.
And you can see this very bold user locking...
Oh, by the way, the leftoids are constantly projecting, and they tell everybody that the right wing is doing a thing that is disgusting, and any time they do that, flip it. That's actually what they're doing. If they're saying that Critical Drinker is using ChatGPT to make all of his statements, then guess what? That is what the leftoids are doing.
Replies after getting mocked, and of course, Critical Drinker would quote them saying, "Guess you missed that I've been in South Carolina since July 14th then." Very interesting, but eventually he would get to his review, The Odyssey, a disastrous triumph.
Yeah.
To boil down his...
He had the same exact take that I did.
Review, he basically says the movie is meh. It's boring. Yeah. It's not that memorable. It's something that people will forget about very soon. And he also criticizes, again, some of the casting choices, but people were very upset about this on social media. You can see this post.
They want him dead.
The Odyssey, a disastrous triumph, end quote, ha ha ha, S tier cope. And another quote saying, "The king of chuds has finally arrived by calling the Odyssey a disastrous triumph. Sure, buddy, whatever you say." And then there's a quote of a different one saying, "The Critical Drinker and variations of his types are not real people." Oh, wow, they're not even real people. I can't believe this. Critical Drinker, he's not even real. They don't have a single real thought. They are parasites. Cancer inside society. All they do is spread hates and lie. These people are the lowest lows. We have to start acknowledging these people as a sickness. These are like the...
Projection. Whatever they say is actually what's happening on their side. So they say that about Critical Drinker. Guess what?
Anti-fascists, right? These are the progressive people calling people parasites and not real people, calling them a cancer to society. Notice during this entire heart-wrenching soliloquy here, this person never said anything that he said was...
We have to all come together to get rid of the fascists. Bro, that is the most fascist thing that I've ever heard.
Wrong. They never point out a single thing that they disagree with. It's just dehumanizing language because they have nothing else. They don't know how to deal with the review, so instead...
They gotta bring it down to their level because they're not human.
They're just attacking him as a person, if he's even considered a person to them anymore. But here's another outrageous reach, where this user says, "You're saying this movie is actually going to see a box office decline over time? Like, it will make more when it opens than in subsequent weeks? I've been doing this for 35 years, and I've never seen such a thing. What a disaster for Nolan. He'll never make another film." With a screenshot, not of Critical Drinker, but instead of a random Reddit user on the related subreddit. And like sheep, a bunch of people in the replies are saying, now you got Richard Roper clowning the Critical Drinker. A lot of people were believing that this post was made by Critical Drinker himself. And don't worry, guys, he was there to clarify. I know everyone was worried it was his post, but he said, "LOL, you actually think I wrote this? I don't even use Reddit." Adding further, trying to associate me with the opinion of some random Reddit user as if they're all extensions of my consciousness. Just pathetic. And overall, I think this quote really sums up everything going on with the discourse, especially with Critical Drinker. People really gave Critical Drinker so much power, and all the man does is review movies. It's like a constant 2 minutes hate at a man that doesn't even know you exist.
You're still here talking about him, talking about everybody's giving him such power, but I'm gonna make a million posts about him. Like, dude, have some self-awareness.
Kind of funny that you've made him this big part of your life. Many such cases. People are very threatened by Critical Drinker. I mean, someone who's not a part of the mainstream media who reviews films and people actually listen to his reviews. Of course, it makes these wackadoos very mad because they see that he has actual influence on how people are going to perceive something or whether or not they're going to try out something from the media, and that makes a lot of people very upset. But overall, that is the situation, the latest update with the Odyssey, and it's going to do it for this video as well. So if you enjoyed, please consider giving the video a like, consider subscribing and turning on notifications for daily uploads, as well as multiple streams every week live here on YouTube. But overall, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.
Dude, I can't wait for the Spider-Man movie and Doomsday to come out because we're going to go through all of this all over again.
The Steven Universe fandom is in shambles.
It always has been.
And the first thing I was thinking when I read this news, and I'll tell you all the details in a moment, but the first thing I was thinking is, I didn't even realize that there still was a Steven Universe fandom, to be quite frank. Like, I never got into the show, but I do remember years ago hearing about how...
Oh, dude. it is canonical that Steven Universe fucked his dad. Straight up, there's all kinds of pedophilia going on. It's absolutely disgusting. I think everybody involved in that show, probably, even the person that's being canceled right now, should have their hard drives checked, and probably half of them arrested just out of principle of writing that pedo slop.
How terrible this fandom was. Like, one of the most infamous examples of online harassment in a fandom did come from the Steven Universe fandom, where large parts of the fandom on Tumblr harassed an artist into nearly taking their own life because they were so offended that the artist drew the character Rose Quartz thinner than she is in canon. These performative couch activist weirdos were seething, calling it fatphobic. There's other examples of toxicity in this fandom, and toxicity even seems like it's putting it lightly, given what went on. But for example, when part of the fandom was harassing a storyboard artist because they were upset about shipping or something. Keep in mind, this was back during like the height of terminally online shipping discourse. And as I've always said, it's one thing to ship characters and have fun with it, go ahead. But some people start taking shipping way too seriously. They literally start like harassing people over ships. All of that is obviously very cringe behavior, to say the least. And it actually still gets worse, because another situation had involved a terminally ill child who wanted to watch some episodes of Steven Universe early, which is tragic to think about, that a child would even have to think about not having time left, that they'd have to face their own mortality.
It is tragic to think about a child wanting to watch Steven Universe before they die. That's fucking crazy to me. You should not be allowing children to watch that show. You should not get to the point where a child wants to watch that show.
And allegedly, this child did get that wish granted. They saw some episodes early and then posted some info about it online, which resulted in a big Steven Universe YouTuber mocking the child and harassing the child online. So that's some very brief context into
a Steven Universe YouTuber? What the fuck are we doing?
To some of the main controversies in this fandom. This, of course, is not like a formal reporting video. It's just some recollections. This is to say, consider looking into any of that on your own for more details, for more information. But yeah, I thought the show was done. I thought all these controversies kind of made the fandom fall apart and it faded away, because I haven't really heard much about any of this in a long time. But I guess there were parts of the fandom that still did remain after all, and that takes us to today's news. And by the way, if you like the show and you're a reasonable person, you're not one of these crazy couch activist types, then you know, obviously none of this stuff is applying to you. But like I said, let's get to the news now. Let's see what's going on today. As we have ToonHive reporting Steven Universe fans are speculating that DD Magno Hall, the voice of Pearl, may support MAGA after noticing he follows Charlie Kirk and several MAGA-affiliated accounts on Instagram. The tweet getting over 5.3 million views on Twitter. They have a little compilation here, but there's another tweet.
You have to hate Trump in your cartoons. Did you know that? And you gotta not be okay with not wishing death upon people. You have to wish death upon people and actually have to celebrate the deaths of people that you dislike. Dude, absolutely fucking insane. Deport all these freaks. Get them out of my country. I'm tired of this shit.
That we'll take a look at that compiles things a bit more detailed.
Deport the leftoids.
This one from Possum Reviews reads, DD Magno Hall, the voice actress of Pearl from Steven Universe, got outed as a right-winger and Charlie Kirk fan, and Steven Universe fans are not handling it well at all. There's the larger compilation as mentioned.
Like, you can respect people who have differing opinions from you and not be on their side politically. I don't even know if this person is politically right-wing. And also, I don't fucking care.
So we'll take a look at their complaints. Let's talk about this really quick, because it's especially funny when you pause and really unpack this, because most people in fandoms in general tend to be apolitical, or are closer to apolitical than they are having a hardline stance to the left or the right. And people routinely have to see obnoxious, virtue-signaling, leftist corpos and other industry types like English voice actors constantly standing on moral soapboxes preaching down to others. And it's like, dude...
Like, bro, if you attach your personality and your identity to a fandom, you're retarded. Like, dude, get a fucking life. Go touch grass.
We know why they do this. It's because the Western entertainment industry is filled with some of the most fake and corrupt people out there. Like, if you don't share the exact same hive mind in politics with those people, it's significantly more difficult to get work, and for some it's even just impossible. So you constantly see English VAs virtue signaling.
That's why celebrities, that's why, like, what's his name, Simon Pegg, that's why he's playing Balrog, because you have to be part of the degenerate culture, or you get excommunicated and you don't get to be a celebrity anymore. And these celebrities are desperate to keep their status.
Just so they can try and show the union SAG-AFTRA and their corpo buddies that they're one of them too. They're just like them. It's all very performative, very fake, and very corrupt. It's an industry filled with nepotism and cronyism. And my point is, everyone in fandoms is very used to seeing stuff like this go down and having leftist politics pushed onto us by these authoritative figures in the space, which makes it funny how much leftists freak out when they find the extremely rare, vocally non-left-wing person in the industry. Like, oh no, there's actually a handful of people in the industry who don't fit the exact same hive mind as the rest.
Not for long.
How awful.
As soon as they get found out, they get pushed out.
As if 99% of the time, these people aren't forcing their politics onto everyone else. All right, let's have some fun and take a look at this compilation now.
Well, it's not politics for them. It's just real life. What, you're not for trans people? You want trans people dead? Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Starting at the top, we've got, it's still messing me up that Dee Magno Hall is MAGA. Dee Magno Hall, Pearl from Steven Universe's VA, is MAGA. My whole day has been ruined.
I talk shit on PlayStation all the time, and people will be like, oh, you're just a MAGA chud. What? What are you talking about? Which I get it in this one more, but like it's just weird how they've turned that into an insult for people who aren't even a part of that weird Trump fart-sniffing cult.
The Dee Magno Hall situation is so weird. Because what do you mean you're most famous for voicing the craziest lesbian in animation history, but you're a Charlie Kirk fan? Genuinely bizarre. What is going on in her brain? Interested to know if she will be involved in Lars of the Stars. Lars of the Stars? What kind of name is that? Is that supposed to be like a spin-off show or something from Steven Universe?
Yes.
Guys, I can't wait to watch the new Lars of the Stars. Yes. Okay, bro.
That's the gayest thing I've ever heard.
Excuse me. Now I feel a little bit bad. Look, okay, again, if you're not a crazy person and you're like, you just like these shows, fine, fair enough. But it's a funny name, all right? Let's continue. Because, well, she voices all the Pearls. Will they recast her? It's kind of strange to think of someone else voicing the Pearls, though. What do you mean the VA for Pearl from Steven Universe is MAGA? Woman, did you watch the show you gave your voice for 7 years? She's
That's
Zionist
what I'm saying.
too. What? How? Fucking how? The palpable rage. Y'all, Dee Magno Hall is MAGA. I'm so disappointed in her. I feel betrayed by Dee. Holy
Dude, I love
parasocial
it.
behavior.
I love it.
Honestly, and I feel like this would be a big slap in the face to her people because she's Filipino, by the way. What is this?
Wow,
is
what?
Screenshot of that.
What does that have to do with anything?
That tweet from like the Toon thing or whatever from the beginning. Discussions. Oh no, I think it's just like an AI summary. Discussions surrounding Dee Magno Hall, best known as the voice of Pearl in Steven Universe, and right-wing or MAGA politics, stem from her social media activity. Fans noticed that she follows right-wing political accounts, including Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA.
Oh, so she actually is right-wing. Damn. Okay, respect. Not respect for being a voice actress in the industry, being a voice actress for this pedo slop Steven Universe. But like, okay, yeah. Respect for standing on your principles, I guess, at least.
Sparking significant online debate across, and the rest gets cut off in a screenshot. Then there's that Toon account again talking about the speculations. Person says, this better be a joke. Another one saying, what do you mean Dee Magno Hall is a MAGA weirdo? Pearl, my beloved, how could you? And this one that says, is there concrete evidence that Dee Magno Hall is a conservative other than her religious content?
You know that their heart rates spiked whenever they saw that news.
Maybe unpopular opinion, but I think it's very not woke to automatically assume Christian equals MAGA. I'm an atheist, so I don't follow faiths, but you know what they say about assuming. Response reading, from what I've seen, she followed Charlie Kirk on Insta plus other MAGA accounts. And there is a post from a few years back showcasing her liking Mark Hamill's America Stands with Israel tweet. And then this one with the broken heart spam saying, DD Magno Hall follows Charlie Kirk on Twitter, call that MAGA light. This one is especially funny because they started blocking people in the quotes. So the tweet says, DD Magno Hall, the voice of the lesbian Pearl from the woker cartoon Steven Universe's MAGA. There were 2 MAGA demons on the cast of Steven Universe. Dog. MAGA demon? Wow, that's mature. Which actually this person points out too. This person got blocked for this tweet. Says, imagine being a grown adult who's this disappointed over a children's cartoon, over a voice actor even. Pathetic. And the reason I say it looks like they got blocked is because if I like refresh this, I don't think the tweet will pop up. Yeah, you can see. So this is pretty much what always seems to happen on Twitter, to my understanding. If someone blocks someone else, like the quote tweet starts saying it's unavailable like this. Another person posting some satire in response saying, lol, you chuds getting all mad over a little bit of diverse representation in the Odyssey. Pearl was voiced by who? Who supports what? They got a response that reads, look, I was a longtime fan, and I'll be the first to say the writing got worse as time went on, and this fandom can be horrible at times. However, I'm curious as to why she of all people signed on to the show with all it entailed. It'd be like an illegal Hispanic man supporting Trump. Response says, because it's a paying gig. I wouldn't have any issue drawing a far-left progressive comic if the pay was good enough. It's a job. This response is crazy. Right? First, the context. This person says in response to Two Knife posting that news we've been seeing, an image, a screenshot of another tweet that says, always funny when leftists go, quote, art is left wing, unquote, like they are not constantly double checking and breathing down the necks of every artist, musician, and actor to make sure they're not right wing and making sure they lose everything they have if they are right wing. To which this user responded saying, leftists said they were shocked at me being right wing because I had a, quote, queer art style, unquote. Oh, brother. Look at this response from Kukurio. Says, dude, I'm more in the center, but I get a considerable amount of leftist wokies going, quote, it's a pity they're far right, unquote, yeah, right? Because the drawings are good.
Well, you are far right to them because they're so far left that even people on the left are considered far right.
Good and funny. Like Karen, you can consume and enjoy them. You don't need to publicly pretend you can't. Let's check this one out too. This sounds crazy. I still remember the absolute outrage that artists that I followed on IG, not anymore, had when they found out you were right-wing. It was absolute madness, like you had committed some form of blasphemy. OP saying, you would have thought that I had legit eliminated someone from their reaction. So ultimately, it sounds like all of this Steven Universe stuff is because of people follow policing via DD Magno Hall over on Instagram, and considering how toxic parts of that fandom have been for years, as mentioned way earlier in the video, I suppose it's a bit surprising it took him this long to find out, because he certainly seemed like the type of people that, you know, would be follow policing years ago. Maybe DD Magno Hall followed these accounts recently. I don't know. Who knows what the specifics are, but that's the situation. That is the latest. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great rest of your weekend. I enjoyed it very much. A wonderful week ahead, and I'll see you in the next one.
Dude, this whole situation is ridiculous. I love it so much. I love it when leftoids crash out on each other. Not saying that the voice actress is leftoid. I mean, she kind of is. But people, they have differing opinions, man. Like, people, like, for example, me. I have a lot of leftist to Democrat, you know, talking points. I got some MAGA right-wing talking points. I don't just completely align with, like, one cult, you know? I am outside of all of these cults. Oh, form your own opinion. I don't really have any opinions. My opinions change all the time. I'm kind of retarded. But I do have one consistent opinion, that these leftoids are absolute degenerates, and they deserve everything that they're getting.